I'm getting you.
Good, good. So Norm, guys, is my new friend. We just met, Jay, and we decided we're gonna go live. You guys know I'm always making friends on TikTok. Me, I don't play around when I'm in this platform. I'm networking, I'm meeting people, I'm going to the YouTube channels and all of that, Norm, so give us a little
Yeah.
bit of a background. I pretty much don't know you. So like let's start from the
Yeah.
beginning. Who are you? What do you do? And yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna try and be very brief and quick because I do a lot of things, but I'm going to focus on what we are going to be talking about today. So my name is Nomhle and I am a property manager. So I am a property management virtual assistant. So how that came about was since I was in university, I started working for a property managing company and I was doing the administration for them. But I was like an intern, yeah, now, doing a side hustle job whilst being at varsity. And then I left, and once I left, I started working for Hi Noma. I started working for another property managing company, and because of the 3 years, 4 years experience I had, they made me like an executive and all of that. And then I worked for them for about 9, 10 months. After that, I was tired of going to the office every day, and I said, "Okay, I'm leaving." So I told my boss, and I said, "I'm leaving," but I lied. I said I'm going back to school. And then he was like to me, why don't you work for me as a virtual assistant? So I knew about being a virtual assistant from when during 2020, there was that during that time we used to Google how to make money online. So that is something that came up during that time, but I didn't pay attention to it. And so when he said that, I said, oh, okay. Then he said, yeah, we can restructure it, and then you can work as an independent contractor and do the management for his properties. And that's how I started being a property manager since last year. I think June. Yeah, since last year, June, July. And yeah, ever since I have started my YouTube channel, and the whole idea of Upskill with Nom is basically, well, it speaks mostly to job seekers, but also people who have jobs are also invited, obviously. But the idea was job seekers that are looking for jobs, and whilst they're looking for jobs, as they could have like a side hustle, or they could start an online business as a virtual assistant. And who knows, they might end up loving it and it becomes a career, or once they find their dream job, then they can move there. So that's basically me. I don't know
Cool.
what
I'm
else
glad
I
you
should
say
add.
that. No, no, that's good. That's good. So, guys, I know that normally I talk about side hustles on Wednesday, right? Because I always tell my people, listen here, guys, you need to get to a point where you have some kind of extra income because we can't survive with salaries alone, right? So it's part of your professional development to make sure that financially you are stable at least. So we normally do it on Wednesday, but today we're doing it on a Monday. I'm switching things up on you guys. Now, please tell me what a virtual assistant is. What is a virtual assistant basically?
Okay. So a virtual assistant is basically an independent contractor. So before we were introduced to freelancers, so we would know that there's somebody who does work for a company once in a while or on contract, or not pro bono, I forgot the other name, but basically they do work for them, but not as a full-time employee, right? And so virtual assistants, they started coming up. Obviously, I think they've been there before the pandemic, but during the pandemic, they boomed because people were working from home. And so there are two ways that you could be a virtual assistant. As a virtual assistant, you could either start a business as a virtual assistant and actually offer your services as an independent contractor, meaning that you will be invoicing a company, or you could be an employee. There are jobs that you can go through as an employee, but most of the jobs are international, and you end up being a contractor and eventually having to pay your own tax and all of that. So maybe we can speak to the one that is an independent contractor and you starting your own business, which is basically your own side hustle as somebody who's working. So what you will do is you will start a business based on whichever services that you are comfortable with providing. Most of the time, people who have been in the workplace, just like me, we provide services that we have been doing for years or however long that we have. And what you do is you provide the services to a company, you are not the employee. So it's not like they will tell you that you must work between this time and this time. No, you are your own business person. You're a virtual assistant. So you provide the services to them and you agree on what exactly you'll be doing for them, how much they'll be paying you. You do the job weekly and however long you provide reports, and that's how it goes. So it's basically a business, but you work for small businesses or you work for big companies, however big the company is or small.
Guys, you see, this is exactly what I told you. I told you guys that some of you, because you understand admin, because you understand accounting, because you understand operations, you understand social media, you understand marketing, you guys are sitting with the skills to actually offer to other small businesses, right? And then you can do it while you are working. I know it's going to be a lot, right? Doing it while you're working. Obviously, you wouldn't be doing it at a scale that Norm is actually doing it, because I mean, with you, it's like it's a company, let's go, right? But you guys can actually take that and do it at a small scale and make yourself some nice income. So Norm, where can people start? You mentioned something. You said people are already doing these things at work, right? And now actually they can take those things and offer them somewhere else. What is the starting point for somebody who's sitting and saying, okay, I want to start something?
Okay, so most of the time you obviously have to check if it clashes first with your job, right? In terms of if you're allowed to offer those kind of services, because remember, you're going to be looking for clients. So, and obviously you might bump into your employer's clients, which can be a breach of contract. I think that's what it's called. So that's where you have to start and see if you can actually be a marketing assistant and provide marketing services. That's where you have to start. And then after that, if you get the go ahead, or maybe you are providing a different service to what you're doing at work, then if you are already working and you're already doing the work, then you're going to need to find a client. The client is the business that's the beginning and the end. Yes, you can have the skill. Yes, I can have everything, but where they need to start is finding a client. And finding a client is obviously like the make or break, meaning so the places that you could look for, there are different platforms. I think we can start by sharing platforms. I found some gigs on Facebook. So there are Facebook groups for virtual assistants. They are called Virtual Assistants South Africa. There's one here called Freelancers South Africa. Let me see, become a virtual assistant. So those are the different Facebook groups chats that you can join. On these groups, there are days, obviously you need to check the rules and their regulations. There are days where they'll allow you to advertise your services, etc. And then there's also people who are posting jobs to say, I need somebody to manage this for me, or I need somebody to do this poster for me. And then that's when you will apply. For you to apply, you need to have a portfolio, right? So a portfolio, that is something that you can Google and check on YouTube, but essentially it needs to show who you are, what services you provide, and who do you provide the services to, okay? And that's very important because that's where they will see also your sample work. It needs to include sample work to show them what you've done for other clients and what you can do for them. If it's the very beginning and you've never done any work, that's where free work comes in, which is helpful because you are still working. So it's not like now you don't have a job, you're still working, but you can provide some free work to get to build your sample and to build your sample work and to build your proof of work to show them that you can actually do the work. So it's good to not quit your job until you have the work, and then you eventually the people that you're doing the free work for, they can become potential clients. Either way, the work that you're doing for them is going to help you because it's your work at the end of the day, and you can use to showcase to other potential clients. So Facebook is the first one, and then going on social media platforms and actually looking for companies that are in the niche. Like maybe you're looking for companies in solar or whatever it may be. You go and you Google those companies. You look for them on Facebook, obviously, and social media pages, and you'll be able to see who can be your potential client. And you can write up a list, find an email of theirs, and do what they called an elevator pitch, where you tell them exactly what I said before, who you are and what you can provide for them. And you send them your portfolio, which will have the sample work that you've done for other clients and other people. And yeah, and then the other ways are your Indeed and your LinkedIn. They also provide yeah, those jobs.
Cool stuff. Guys, we've only been live for like 11 minutes, but the knowledge is like, it's a lot of knowledge. You know, when I saw your post and I saw your content, I was like, this one is gonna drop gems. I need to lock you in. So I'm glad you came back to me. So guys, let's tap the screen, let's like the live. Let's get to 10K because this is a fire conversation. You know, if you're not following me, make sure you're following me, but also please follow Norm, right? Follow her because what she's dropping right now is not even 10% of the knowledge that she gives you. There's a YouTube channel, everything, but she's gonna let us know. So if you just came in, we're speaking about becoming a virtual assistant, right? As a side hustle while you're working, because I know some of you guys are working that come to the live, but also if you wanna go full time, hey, listen here, she's been doing it. So Norm, give me a practical example. As a virtual assistant, so let's speak about you, right? As a virtual assistant, you wake up, then what does your day look like? Are you using computers? Are you using, what's this virtual thing? What does it look like? Give us a typical day.
Okay, a typical day. My equipment is going to be a cell phone, it's going to be a laptop and Wi-Fi inverter because we're in South Africa.
Yeah.
And or UPS if you can go that far. I started with an inverter which is about 500 and something rand, so the Wi-Fi is still on whilst I'm working. So for now, until I can, get a UPS. So those are the kinds of equipment that you're going to be needing. And then a typical day is I'll wake up and then first things first, check the emails, check if my client has sent me anything, check my client's emails. So my client has given me an email specific to me, and then I'll be checking if any tenants, so I'm a property manager, so I'll be checking if tenants are sending emails to say that there's something wrong or they need something, or if I need to send over a contract or whatever it is. So most of my job is on the emails. From the emails, I'm using a Google Drive. The Google Drive is where me and my client will be basically putting whatever that needs work on there. So if he says, listen, I need this contract, can you please make a contract for a tenant, here's their details, and they put it on the drive, then I go to the drive and I edit it and I tailor it to the tenant. So most of the work is done on a Google Drive and as well as by email. So that's where you'll be mostly working, unless if there are other forms of communication like Slack, especially for international companies. There are different platforms that they use. But most of the time you'll be working on email and a Google Drive where you and your client will be putting stuff there, which is so much better because you don't, I was saying something to that when I was live the other day, to say that you don't want to leave your job and then go start a virtual assistant business to become an employee again. You're starting it because you want to be, not that you want to be an employer, but you want to be self-employed. And so that's why you put measures in place to say, you and I will speak every Friday and I'll tell you what happened this week. And if you need anything, you put it on the drive. So to avoid being WhatsApped every 2 minutes, hi, can you do? No, I'm not your employee. So that's where we also need to get it right, that you're not an employee anymore. You are transitioning, you're becoming a self-employed and potentially an employer. And so, yeah, that's typically my day. And then I'm on emails. And if there's nothing else that I need to do for the day, then I'll start working on other stuff in my life. But yeah, most of the time you'll be on emails, you'll be on a Google Drive or any other platform that you and your client can basically both work on.
So Bella's Creation says, thank you so much, boss lady. Bless you in all your current and future endeavors. Okay, boss lady, do your thing. Okay, guys, are you listening? Are you guys hearing this? Because, I mean, this is what I try to articulate, but I think you're putting it way better than me, right? So that's why I'm so happy that you're here. And then I'm gonna bring you back. You're gonna have to come back. This conversation is not over. We're not even finished, but I know this conversation is gonna be long. So guys, if you have any questions, please type them in the comments, right? Make sure that you're following me, make sure that you are following Upskill with Norm. And then guys, go get the content. You're gonna get a YouTube channel, everything. People Bella said I just arrived. Purple Bella, welcome. We're speaking about how to become a virtual assistant, right? So we're with Upskill with Norm here, and then she's giving us the tips, the tea, everything, you know. So if I'm not negotiating with you guys, I said you need to have something on the side, right? And then this is a good starting point. So, Norm, administration is one of the most popular things when it comes to virtual assistant, right? I know that there's you know, you can do marketing. It can fall in different categories, but a big part of it is you are basically helping somebody, right, to sort out their admin. Because a lot of us, I'm an entrepreneur as well. And I think at some point I'm going to get a virtual assistant because you just check my desktop, Jay, the icons, it's all over the place. That already is a problem. So that tells you that my folders are also not in place and whatnot. So I'm loving the fact that administration is one of the biggest things, right? What does that look like? So you mentioned emails that you need to sort out. You mentioned documents that need to be done. So maybe delve a little bit into some of those examples. So what are you doing for somebody? Hold on, before you go there, she's too bright. Woo, thanks, coach, for bringing her. But you are very bright. She's very smart. She's very clever. I saw her YouTube channel. I was like, this person is too clever. Oh my God, is it possible that you record lives and we see them later? Guys, TikTok saves my lives, right? But the thing is, the administration, that's why maybe I need a virtual assistant. The administration of taking their lives and creating thumbnails and putting them on YouTube. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm horrible with YouTube, you know. You can also check out Fiverr for virtual work. So somebody saying, Tabang is saying there's Fiverr. So let's get into the examples, right? So administration, what does it look like? You mentioned emails, you mentioned some documents. Maybe let's get, obviously it depends industry to industry, right? But just give us a little bit of a picture.
Okay, just to add to what Tabang is saying, firstly, he's talking about Fiverr. There's also Upwork. He's right. For me, it was easier for me to start my virtual assistant business because I already had a client, because my previous employer said, listen, you can do this on the side. So people like me, maybe we could say that I'm luckier because I got a client easier, but there are platforms like Fiverr and Upwork that have worked for other people. So you guys can also check that out. So some of the other things are, okay, so property management essentially is property administration. So it does speak to administration. So people will get a clear idea. So it would be your, let's start with a tenant application. So maybe there are certain forms that somebody needs to fill in, and then I would make sure that I get their FICA documents and find out where they want to stay, and then do the, okay, I don't do the viewings because I am virtual, but there is a maintenance people who do it with them. So I do the admin of arranging that appointment to say at this time there's somebody who'd like to view the unit or the house. Can they come? And then they'll go. And then once everything is good and they say, okay, would like to apply, then I take the documents, and then I use tools such as TPN and MDA to check the credit, if they're good and all of that. And then once they're approved, I'll let them know that, okay, you're approved. And then they can do the financial stuff, which is me invoicing them. So you'll then do invoices. You'll invoice them to say, listen, this is how much it's going to be for you to move in, the deposit, the rent, and admin fees, and all of that. And then they'll be like, okay, good. The next step will then be giving them the key. I don't keep the keys because I'm virtual. Then I'll communicate again with the maintenance to say, listen, this person's going to be moving in on this date. Please make sure that you're there. And then also with housekeeping, make sure the place is clean. So I'm the guy behind, you know, I'm the person saying, listen, I need you to go there. Can you please go do this? And then they'll clean the place, and then the tenant will move in. Before the tenant moves in, then I'll give the maintenance guys an inspection form, and then they'll do the inspection with the tenant to check that everything is good before they move in, and then they'll move in. All those things the maintenance guys are sending to me to say, here's the form. Okay, next. And then I am basically formulating a file for the tenant and putting it on MDA, and then putting it also on the drive to say, okay, we've got a new tenant, here's their documents and the details. And the client is seeing all of this to see that, okay, here, this client's ID, they can see where this client comes from, tenant comes from, and where they are going to be staying, and all of that. And then also, okay, they've moved in, and then there's weekly reports. So you will need to know how to do report writing. So I'll write to say that, okay, this person moved in this week, and we have this amount of tenants at this place. And if there's any maintenance that has been done, these are the amount of job cards that I've sent out to maintenance. And there's also a little bit of a bookkeeping, because when you're doing invoicing, you need to say how many tenants haven't paid rent, how many are yet to pay rent, and what else. And it's an ongoing thing because not everybody pays rent on the first. Some people pay the seventh. You need to send out letters of demand. So that's also something that you're going to be doing. You're going to be drafting a lot of letters to say, you need to pay your rent. Why haven't you paid? And all of that, and make arrangements if you have to. And what else? Yes. And then report writing, as I was saying, you need to report. That will be dependent on your agreement with your client to say how many times do you speak, so maybe weekly reports or is it monthly reports. And yes, and then you invoice your client before the month starts and they pay you, and the cycle continues monthly.
Money, 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 guys.
Yeah.
So basically, you are the sort of like central control, to make sure that everything is happening the way it should be happening. So, guys, first of all, thank you, Murife, for all of the gifts. I really appreciate the roses. Murife, don't run. Nana Lee, thank you so much for the gifts as well and for gifting the guests as well, guys. I like it when you gift the guests because they feel welcome. We're showing them with family. Let's tap the screen, guys. We are close to 10K likes, so double tap that screen. Follow me if you're not following me yet. Follow Upskill with Norm if you're not following her yet. And some of you guys, you must remember, somewhere around where you stay, there's a guy who owns trucks, right? There's a guy who owns tractors. There's a guy who owns, you see these businesses popping up. There's a tire guy and whatnot. It's like the opportunities for you guys are major, right? Because if you can sit with those people and say, administratively, we need to make your business sound and make them understand the downfall of not having good admin when it comes to the business. I'm telling you, you're going and that you guys have been learning. So you need to go and apply it. Kopotso, thank you for coming through. Kopotso, we're talking about how to become a virtual assistant. So now, Nom, in terms of business, we spoke about the business tools that you need, right? So your phone, your laptop, and everything like that, right? But what else do you think people should have in place in terms of how they're going to market themselves? Is it a company profile they need to have? Is it necessary for a website right now, or rather an Instagram account or a Pinterest? Or so let's say somebody says, I want to start, I'm Nelly Kumalo, welcome. What do you suggest they should have in place in order to market themselves?
Okay, so in order to market themselves, we mentioned a portfolio earlier. So the first thing you will do is look for your ideal client so that you can offer to give them free services. So, because remember, you don't have a portfolio because a portfolio must show what you can do. So for now, you can only write, I do administration or I do property management. Yeah. So you need to get a client first and then do it for them so that you can have some sample work. Okay. And then once you've built your portfolio, you can do that on Canva. Just put my phone on silent. You can do that on Canva. There are templates that will allow you to structure it in different ways, your colors and all of that. And then you will then go and open an account. It doesn't matter which platform, but we know right now TikTok is doing you can grow rapidly. So your TikTok and Facebook, you should have a Facebook because we did mention that there are groups on Facebook that are very helpful. And you can also start an Instagram account. Any is fine, whichever you're comfortable with, that you can work on. But I think having Facebook is essential. And I also think TikTok. And that is where you can then advertise your skills. And we know that most of the time, for you, okay, it's not a must, but we've noticed that a lot of the time for people to trust you, you need to be able to educate them and teach them. So if it is in you and you are able to show people, if I was able, okay, not that I'm not able, it's just that I don't want to focus on it. But if I could, I would open a TikTok account and start talking about property management. I don't need to say order my services or take my services up. I can just open an account and start talking about property management and what I do and what happens, and just talk about, read news if there are news in the property management space, just talk about those kind of things, whatever it is. And eventually then people will be able to reach out to me and trust me with their properties and say, okay, I think you can be my property manager. A website is not necessary when you are starting out. That is something you can do once you've grown and you are starting to become an agency and now you want to land big clients. But for now, you're still self-employed. You're not yet an employer. You just want about 3 to 5 solid clients. When you're starting out, 1 or 2 is good enough. And remember, you're starting out as a side hustle, so 1 or 2 is good enough. And once you grow, you can get your 3, 5. Some people, you just get 3 really good, high-paying clients, and you don't have to scale it and become a large corporation. It's up to you. But yes, starting that social media account and going on Canva and writing out a portfolio and start working on that. And yeah, if you can open up an account and start teaching people, and eventually that will pull your potential clients towards you faster than putting up a post down Facebook and saying I do admin, because a lot of people are doing that, right?
Yeah. No, I'm happy. I'm happy with that, because the reason why it was important for us to touch on that conversation is because everybody is so quick to say, give us the platforms, give us the platforms. But when you get into those platforms, then what happens? You don't look good. You don't have the portfolios that you're speaking about, and you just responding to everything that comes, So sometimes, guys, starting with the platforms, that's why we're going to end with the platforms. You must not start with the platforms. Let's start with the business. And you know what you need to do. Guys, requests are open. Questions are open. If you've got anything you want to ask about how to become a virtual assistant, whether as a side hustle, whether you want to do it full time, I mean, it's entirely up to you. Jump on right now while Norm is here, because after she disappears after this live, you're going to follow her. And then she is a businesswoman. It's not going to be as easy to get your questions answered. So use this last 30 minutes that we have to ask her, questions about how to become a virtual assistant. Follow her, follow me. And then, yeah. Okay, Norm, let's get into the platforms now, right? You mentioned there's a Facebook, né? And then you and Tabang, you mentioned Fiverr. And then you obviously, I don't expect you to know the entire list off by head, but maybe you can share a couple of some websites and, things where people can go and sign up as virtual assistants. So just a few of them.
Okay, the ones that I know of are Fiverr and Upwork, and I think work from home. Yeah, work from home days.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, flex jobs, I think people pay for it, so that's not something that we are looking into right now. But apparently you can get high paying clients, but that's something you do once you have the money to spend on platforms like flex jobs. But those are the platforms. And look at not Indeed, LinkedIn. Look at LinkedIn. There are a lot of small businesses there, or even agencies, because maybe when you're starting out as a business, maybe you want to get that experience, then you can work as under an agency on that you can find on LinkedIn, and those agencies will take you in, and what they will do is they will find you the client, and then they will pay you as whatever amount they give them. Obviously they'll give you your share. The one that I was on last year, I think it's called not Job Duck. I was on Job Duck last year, and I eventually left because I signed another client, but I made it to the stage just before they match you with a client. So it is one legit platform. But I know that I think currently they're not hiring in South Africa, but they keep opening season and then closing. So platforms like that as well, Job Duck, yeah. And yeah, LinkedIn. Most of them are on LinkedIn. Your promotions and all these other platforms, they are on LinkedIn.
Hey, and bayayisaba i-LinkedIn abantu bani. Eniyayisabi LinkedIn, guys. Yo. And then
yeah.
everything is on LinkedIn, guys. Go fix your LinkedIn profiles. Norm, you wanted to add something?
Yes. Yeah, I wanted to say that Facebook as well. Like Facebook, that's where small business owners will be posting to say, "I need this," and that's where that is your chance to then approach them. But now that's if now you already have an established, not established, but you have proof of work and sample work, then you can go that route. But if maybe you're struggling with doing that, then go through your job tags and go through the agencies that you'll find on LinkedIn. That is where you will gain the
Sure.
experience.
Yo,
Mhm.
no, guys, we need to go. We need to go to Facebook and stop focusing on the post that says type amen. Guys, focus on the right stuff. But Toby is asking, is virtual assistant and social media manager the same thing?
Okay, a social media manager is a virtual assistant. If you are doing remote work and you are working for and you are an independent contractor, then you are a social media manager virtual assistant. But you can be a social media manager and not a virtual assistant. Be a social media manager employee. Yeah, so you can
But
just
Toby,
put
there you go.
you can just put virtual assistant at the end of social media manager. So ultimately, you can be a social media manager, and you choose: are you an employee or do you start your own virtual assistant business?
Okay, where can one get references for rating their service? So this is Batobile. She's saying, in terms of your ratings, what do you show to say that I've been rated high? Or here's a reference, apart from your portfolio, here's my experience. So where can you get those? I take it they should come from a client, but I mean, if you can share more.
Yeah, those should come from your clients. Once you're growing, that's when you'll start to do to start putting your business on Google. Yeah, on Google, and then being able to have Google reviews. That's when now you are growing and all of that. But once you're starting out, the people that you're working with, they can be your references, and yeah, you should be
Cool
able to
stuff.
ask them.
Cool stuff. Guys, 12.2 likes. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. I think we're gonna hit 20K likes by the time we're done here by 2 o'clock. Norm, what are people looking for? You mentioned that that's where on Facebook, that's where small businesses are posting and they're saying, I'm looking for a virtual assistant. What have you seen? Some of the things that they're looking for? Is it administration? Is it finances? What have you seen? Some of the things.
Okay, so most of what we see are either the admin and support field
Mm,
or I'm going to say communications and marketing. The marketing is big in terms of copywriters, graphic designers, SEO, content writers, social media managers. So that's the side of marketing and all of the anything that has to do with like the internet. A lot of companies are hungry for that because they are trying to get online, and we know that most companies, they are trying to save. So that's where a virtual assistant comes in. It's not to say that you are cheap or anything, but you are speaking to businesses that are saying they don't want to hire somebody who's full time, but we can do 2,500 per month, and this person will only speak to us once a week, and you only work for them twice a week or 3 days in a week, and they give you 2,500 rand, and then you get another client, and that's how you build. So most of these companies are looking for like in that field, your copywriters, graphic designers. And when I say graphic designers, I'm not speaking big stuff. They're not looking for people who are going to do their logos. They're literally looking for somebody who can work on Canva. Guys, Canva is your girl. If you know how to work on Canva, a lot of these companies are looking for people who can work on Canva. And then the admin and support, that's where you find your bookkeepers, and you hardly find one who will say just for admin. Most of the time, that's why I encourage people most of the time to say, if you're going to be doing, if you're going to start a virtual assistant business and you only do admin, try and learn a bookkeeping software like your Sage, or I think it's QuickBooks. Learn a
mm,
bookkeeping platform, because most of these companies are looking for somebody who can do something in the finance space, but they're not looking for an accountant or somebody who's going to be balancing their books, but they're looking for somebody who can just do 1 plus 1, and show how much has been coming in, show invoices and all of that. So that your general bookkeeping.
So guys, drop your skills under comments. Ne? Let's test if some of your skills could work in terms of being a virtual assistant somewhere, because there's many different areas, right? We have an idea now. So just drop your skills under comments, and then we'll just look at some of them, and then just see if it's something that can work or not. But Norm, I think also bottom line is you're going to have to market yourself, right? So I mean, a lot of people are like, this sounds so cool and everything, but they hate the work that comes in with it. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have to hustle to get clients and work. So we've got a software developer, Tabang. Do you think software development could work, Norm?
Yes, yes, definitely. Software development is also one of the big ones, because a lot of us, even virtual assistants, we are looking to have websites. Once you start growing, you want to have a website where you don't want to have to send a PDF to show your portfolio. Now you want them to go to a website where they can find all your skills. So software developers, definitely. Cybersecurity, I've never seen that before, but IT support, yes. Financial creditors, that like debtors and click and what is it? Debtors and creditors, clerk. That is also it's sought after. Social media marketing, definitely. Business improvement consultant, I've never heard of that one. But with those kinds of titles, you would usually need to have like a personal brand. It doesn't have to be big, but be like a coach and show people what you can do, and then they'll be able to want your consulting services, especially if you don't have if you don't have like clients that can say this person has done this for us. Those kinds of fields, they need you to show what you can do, and people will approach you and eventually want to consult. Social media manager, yes, definitely. That's the biggest one, actually. If I could rank them, social media managers at the top, and that's why I started with it, because a lot of people were asking me about it.
Yeah. BB, I see you asking about that. I'll respond to you. Today we talk about something different, but I will respond to you, BB. Just hold on a little bit. We've got Nomfundo who requested. Nomfundo, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm not complaining. It's Monday. We're good. What questions, comments do you have?
No, I just joined in, so I want to get the context of everything, because I just joined in today for the live.
Okay.
No,
So
it's my second time actually. So like I'm just trying to catch up, playing catch up. We could see what are you guys talking about today.
I see. So when Anje wanongena request, I love the confidence. So today we're talking about becoming a virtual assistant, starting your side hustle in order to become a virtual assistant, right? So that's what we're speaking about. So upskill with Norm Malake. But we call her Norm. She is the expert in this field. She's a virtual assistant as a property manager, and she's making some good ka-ching-ching, so she's just giving tips for people that are working in terms of how they can also be making some ching-ching.
Okay. So can you break down what is a virtual assistant, guys, please?
Okay, so
Nomfundo. Yazi Nomfundo bafika late basipusela ku conversation ya
guys, my apologies.
Nomfundo, let's do this for you, man.
Yeah.
I see. Let's do this for you, Nomfundo, because asifuna abanye abantwana shena bafike early ukuthi balale nabo.
Okay, no stress.
Unom is going to give it to you. Yeah, she's going to give it to you in like the watered down version very quickly, right? Okay. And then but thank you for coming through.
All right. No stress, guys. I totally understand. My bad. Yeah.
Okay, so
okay, that's cool. So yeah.
So a virtual assistant is basically an independent contractor for businesses and entrepreneurs and companies, whereby you'll be providing a service for them remotely, so you don't have to go to an office, and you have an agreement and you have a contract and you invoice them, so you'll be working as a business.
Okay.
For your services, yeah.
Okay. No, understood. But like you're saying, with the other things, I can get them explained like privately. Okay.
Yeah.
No stress.
Yes. So follow Norm. Yeah. So follow Upskill with Norm, and then follow her content. She's got wonderful things also on YouTube about this whole topic, Yama virtual assistant. So just go to her account. She's gonna plug you. because we
Okay.
spoke about, yes, we spoke about platforms, we spoke about Facebook and whatnot. So the best thing you can do for yourself is go and follow her. She's got all of this information. Check her content, check her
What's
YouTube.
her?
You won't regret
Okay.
it.
Okay. What is her social media handles?
It's upscale with
So
Nom.
yeah,
Upskill with
Mm.
Nom, one word.
No,
yeah.
upscale
Yazenza
and
ni
then with
Nomfundo.
the Nom.
Yes.
Nomfundo, click on her. You see now she's talking here. Click on her face.
Yeah.
Again, she's talking. You click on her face, and then when you click on her face, it's gonna show her account,
Oh,
and then you
follow.
just click follow. Before
Okay.
ulahleka, because if you leave this live, I can follow. So yeah,
Oh,
let's do
okay.
that.
I just did that now. She's wearing a black and denim outfit.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll take everything from there, and then basically, I can get more clarification there. But I'll follow the convo now, where you guys all are now. I'll
Yes.
just stay tuned.
Cool stuff. Thank you, Nomfundo. Guys, don't
Okay.
forget, follow me, follow Nom. Tap the screen, like the live. Nom, sorry, we were going through. So Bella's creation has mentioned admin, right? So admin, definitely we can turn it into virtual assistant, software development, project coordinator. What do you think about a project coordinator as a virtual assistant?
A project coordinator, yes, but you will need to you'll need to find clients that are in the field that you've worked in, and then approach them to say that I've done this type of work, because I hardly see them being posted. But most of the time, even when you go to just look for like a job on Indeed or anything, most of project coordinators and managers, they're contract based, for a certain
Yes.
amount of time. So that's also something that you could do as like one of the services. Accounting, yes, definitely, and bookkeeping. Business development consulting, yes, I did mention that maybe to find clients you need to start like a platform. Marketing, definitely. IT assistant, yes. Property management, definitely, that's what I do. Personal assistance, yes, but it's not, you can't really say just personal assistant, because also remember, personal assistant, you need to be being with the director most of the time. Maybe it could be a hybrid job, or maybe there is a potential client that will allow that, but most of the time, if you look at a personal assistance job, you're like a copy of the CEO or whoever you are a PA to, so you have to be with them, so it won't work as much. I want to send sorry.
No, cool. I see that. Okay. Then question that I have also, ne? I want to send the rose, but I can't. Technology dribbling you. Wah, 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 wah. Showing you flames. Aski is precious. Norm, one thing I want to ask you. Don't tell me your prices, right? Because obviously it's a competitive field. But give me the psychology of pricing. Is it per project, per hour, per week? A combination of a few things, right? So when somebody's saying, I want now to start pricing, right? So what's the psychology behind the pricing?
Okay, so behind the pricing, you will need to have, like, you could have packages where you say that I'm going to be doing work for you that amounts to 3 hours a week, 1 hour,
Yeah.
3 hours a week plus 1 hour of us meeting for a meeting of a weekly update. And then you will say,
Yeah.
so that's basically 4 hours a week. And then you calculate it and say, in a month, that's like 4, 8, 12, 16. That's 16 hours in a month that I'm dedicating to you. And then I'm going to give you this much. And then there's
Yes.
the gig based, where they will post a gig and say, I just need somebody to do a poster for me once, or I need them to do a voiceover for a video. Then you can
Yes.
look at a lot of these Facebook groups. People talk about it. They'll let you know how much they charge to develop a website. They'll tell you how much they charge to do like social media management, etc. And then you take that, and then you basically formulate it to your own prices. And to say that if I'm going to work for you once off, then it's going to be this much. If it's every week, then it's this much. Or if it's only once a month, it depends on the service that you'll be providing. And for me, I have a client, and then he him and I will meet once a week, and then we will. I will be doing their invoicing. Like, so remember, I did mention that with property management, it's not a once-off job because people won't be doing things at the same time. So I could potentially be working the whole month if I could. But I obviously pace myself and I say, okay, I'm only going to give you 2 hours a day, as opposed to him having like a full-time worker. So okay, I'm going to be honest. When I was working for him before, I was earning about 16,000. And then when we went to say, okay, I'm only going to give you 2 hours of my day, and then we bumped it down to 8,000. And I only work 2 hours a day, 10 hours a week. What? Yo, it's dribbling. 40? No. Yeah, 40 hours. Yes. 40. Yeah.
I mean, that's the life, right? There's enough time to sip some cocktails and have some, gin for those who drink and relax. Nyana. I think you're buying time, guys, as well, and that's very important. So, guys, if you just joined, we're talking how to become a virtual assistant. AB, thank you so much for sending the weights. I appreciate it, boss. But that's what we're speaking about, guys, how to become a virtual assistant, what it means, and how you can use it as a side hustle, or you can go full-time. We are with Unomhle Upskill with Norm, and then she's very knowledgeable about the field. Make sure you're following her. Make sure you just go to her socials, YouTube, whatever. Follow her, and then it will redirect you to wherever you need to go. Make sure that you're following me too, because I bring different guests. We speak about different things. So now, Norm, one of the things that I always tell my people as well is that they need to have a level of discipline, right? So if you start something, you need to be consistent, and then you need to have discipline. How important is discipline when you are working from home? Because abantu masithi load shedding, they sleep. Ayalala abantu nge-load shedding when they're working from home. How important is this discipline? Like, and also, how do you, when I personally keep your discipline to make sure that, listen, I don't use this free time and get tempted with saying shama nap, like go shopping and all of that.
Yeah. So discipline is definitely important, because now you are, like I was saying earlier, that you need to go on YouTube and look at videos and learn how to move from having an employee mindset to having an employer mindset. Because when you're an employee, you don't worry that next month, my client next month could decide that I'm gonna take Boo because Boo is gonna charge me 3,000 rand for what you do for me, and that could be the end of my relationship with my client, because it's not like I have a 12-month contract with him or anything. I just have he pays me beginning of the month, and then I do the work for the month, and then if he decides that, bye, so that's some of the things that you need to learn. You need to move from having an employee mindset to having an employer mindset, and telling yourself that, listen, this is it. It's either this or nothing. And also look at how productive you were when you were working for somebody. And that's something that I looked at. I saw myself, I said, when I was working for this person, I got to work. My contract started at 8 a.m. and I would have to leave work by 5 p.m. But I would always make sure that I'm at work by 7 a.m. and sometimes I would even leave at 5 or 6 p.m. And those are the disciplines that I instilled in myself when I was working for somebody. And I told myself that when I start my own virtual assistant business, I want to have the same discipline. In terms of things like load shedding, those are the types of things that are called business expenses. So I did mention that you now need to move from an employee mindset. There's no it's load shedding, so let's relax or let's sleep. There's nothing like that. You need to invest in your business. As I've said earlier, that I've invested in an inverter to make sure that even if there's load shedding, I do have some Wi-Fi, because my life is basically on the internet. Upskill is on the internet. My business, being a property manager, is now on the internet. So without the internet, it means everything stands still. And so those are the type of things that you just need to take it and say, this is an expense that I need to pay. I need to save 600 rand this month and pay for an inverter. And next month, I'll need to save up 2,000 rand, or in the next 3 months, I have to save up 2,000 rand so I can get a UPS to make sure that my laptop is also working. So yeah, those are the things that shift in your life, and it's that or nothing. Like, you need to understand that your client can leave you anytime. This I think even when we are employers, it's better because they need us, so we can leave them anytime. So now when you are are starting your own virtual assistant business, like your client can leave you anytime. So yeah, you need to instill that discipline. And I was watching a video the other day by I forgot who it was, but they were basically saying that you can't Google how to lose weight. Like, what needs to be done. I know that I can't be sleeping when there's load shedding. So I can't now act like I don't know and go and sleep. I know that now I've started a business. I need to pay expenses. So that's why there's that shift, and it's the psychological thing as well that maybe you need to work on, and those are the kinds of personal development that needs to happen when you're moving from being an employee to a self-employed.
Guys, I mean, discipline, right? So stop. Yekani lento le yokulala ngama-load shedding, guys. There's a lot that can be done. Norm, do you do one-on-one sessions where people can come talk to you and then you can advise them, or what can you offer people to do master classes? How can people who are in this live, maybe they were too shy to ask questions and whatnot, and they're like, yo, I'd like to speak to a one-on-one. Do you have any structure like that for people?
Okay, no, I don't provide any consultations or master classes at the moment. For now, what they can do is go to my YouTube channel, or they can follow this account, Upskill with Nom. I always go live. Most of the time, frequently, four days out of 7 in a week, I go live, and that's where we chat about these things. We even share jobs. If there's a company hiring for a virtual assistant, we'll share it. If there's those kinds of opportunities, we share them. And and besides that, my YouTube channel is something that I am working on, and it's something that I want to build to become a resource for people to learn these kind of things without having to consult with me or anything. Maybe in future, the next 2-3 years, I will provide consultations. Sorry, but for now, no. The resource that I want to build is YouTube, so they can subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's Upskill with Nom.
Perfect. Guys, if you have any last questions, we are closing now. Nom, when do you normally go live? Is it random, or do you have like a time slot, or?
Okay, no, to be honest, it's random. I had a time slot before, and then when I started experiencing load shedding, and then I was like, guys, but now that I have, measures that I put in place, maybe I'll become consistent. But they can switch on their notifications. Most of the time, it lets them know, it will alert them when I go live. But most of the time, if I was to generalize it, it's your afternoons now. So like your 12, 1, 2, or later, like your 6, 7, 8. So those are the ranges.
Cool stuff, guys. Make sure you're following here. Any parting words? What are your last words when it comes to, virtual assistant, everything we spoke about? What are your parting words to the people? Mine ask, guys, stop sleeping during load shedding. But anyway, what are your parting words for the people?
Wow. Okay. My parting words, I hope they're not too long. The first thing is obviously know yourself and know who you are and know what you can take. And don't be afraid. That is the one that I'm going to encourage you. Don't be afraid to start, and don't be afraid to consult YouTube and Google. I always tell people on my life that YouTube and Google are your friends. Everything that I said here today, it did not come from somewhere. It came from me sitting on platforms, listening to people, and executing and actually starting the business. When my boss said to me, can you please become a virtual assistant for us? I could have said, no, what's that? Or I could have said, no, I don't want to start a business. I'm looking to start another job. I could have done that, but I took the challenge. So take challenges and don't give up, and keep going back to YouTube and Google. They will answer you. Currently, I'm working on my website, and I haven't spoken to any software developer. All I do is go on YouTube and ask them, what plugin should I use to do this? And it will show me. YouTube will show me. So you don't have to pay for consultations. If you pay for consultations once you have the education, once I know what a website is and I know how to put in the plugins, then I can pay someone to say, okay, listen, I've been doing this and it's not working. You go to consultations when you have questions, not to ask what a virtual assistant is.
Woo! That was fire. I like that. Guys, Google and YouTube are your friend. Guys, don't go off the live. As we're closing, I'm going to give you guys shout outs if you're in the live, and the guest is the last one to get a special shout out. So Nom Nawe Shala, don't go anywhere while I give everybody their shout out. So guys, You know, I really appreciate you. Nana Lee, you came today. Nana Lee is the only person who will say to me, text me when you go live. I don't understand why. Just put your notifications on. But my friend, I appreciate you and thank you for the gift. But Toby, the chief moderator, the big boss of the live, thank you so much. You know, I appreciate you big time. Amukelani, I see you. Bella's Creation, thank you so much for engaging today. Khadi, I think I saw your question. We couldn't answer it, but you know, come back tomorrow, 2 o'clock. I'm live. We're going to be speaking career strategies. I'll answer all of your questions. Refilo, I see you. Mrs. GJ, I see you. Pindish, I see you. Thank you for always coming. Matego, I see you. Rama, I see you. Amanda Wolf, I see you. Bibi, come please tomorrow. I want to ask your question. You answer your question about the payslip issue. Okay, I do career strategy on Tuesday. User 68, thank you for coming through. I wish I knew your name so that I can give you a proper shout out. Lebza, thank you for coming through. AP, thank you for coming through. Noctula, thank you for coming through. Delisile, I see you. Order 906, I see you. Karabom, I see you. Mimza, I see you. Chooks, I see you. James, I see you. CBA, I see you. Mandy Rain, I see you. And to our special guest, Nom Upskill with Nom, thank you for coming through. I really appreciate you. I'm going to be bringing you back, and then we're going to have more conversation. Guys, in the meantime, follow me and then make sure that you follow her. And then I will see you tomorrow, guys, 2 o'clock. We're talking career strategies. Bring your payslip questions. Bring all of the questions that you have. We have somebody who's doing a last-minute request here. Guys, you guys are killing me. You guys always wait for last minute. Askis, guys, I can't take it. We'll speak next time. Norms needs to go and work on a business. I need to go work. And some of you guys, lunch is over. You need to leave. Guys, I'm out of here. Love you all. I'll see you guys next time. Sharp, sharp.